Hey everybody, this is Alessandro, welcome back to my channel, and today I want to analyze with you my demo reel that actually got me more than 15 interviews from small studio, big studio like Sony, Mikros, Metal Studios like a CD Projekt and other few big company. And the reason why I decided to do that, because I spent a lot of time to planning for that demo reel, and eventually it was kind of successful because I got a lot of good feedback. So I thought about it. Maybe there is today someone who's planning his new demo reel for the next job hunting or something, or maybe someone already has a demo reel and is not receiving a lot of response. So I thought about sharing my thoughts, and all the good feedback I received can actually help you maybe to plan your next demo reel. Okay, guys. It took me a couple of years to do this demo reel because I was working back then in Singapore as an animation supervisor, so I couldn't focus full time, but only my free time after work or in the weekend. So that's why I decided to plan very carefully. So how did I approach my planning? So the first step I could say, as usual, like everyone else, you want to think what kind of studio you want to apply. And as a cliche as it sounds, I thought about applying to Pixar, DreamWorks, Blue Sky, biggest video game company. And so I thought about it, if I want to apply for those kind of company, what kind of shot I need to have in my demo reel, okay? So I was thinking, if I want to apply, for example, Blue Sky or Sony, I know they do a lot of snappy and cartoony shot, okay, with a lot of squash and stretch, very cartoony design and something like that. So I thought about maybe I should do something like that. For example, like Pixar or DreamWorks, I thought about doing some few acting shot, okay? Maybe someone very, very realistic, almost motion capture style, and another one where actually you push a little bit more the pose and timing, like for example how they do in Tango. And for a video game company, I thought about it. Most of video game company, they need like motion capture, body mechanics. So I was thinking about to do a very photorealistic combat sequence. And as you can see from the image, probably right now, my combat shot in my demo reel is not photorealistic at all, right? And I'm gonna explain you later on why this is actually was the best decision I ever made. So actually, once I planned this, I was thinking as well. It's not just about the kind of company what I'm applying for. I was thinking as well the skill that are missing at the moment in me as animator, and how I want to push those skill, okay? And planning some kind of shot in a way where I know I can push my skill, I can push a little bit my limit, but it's reasonable and I know I can achieve eventually, right? Because if you're shoot for the moon, but your skill are not there yet, you're gonna end up only with a ugly animation, and it's not gonna help your demo reel, right? So the first shot that I thought about it was a body mechanic cartoonish shot. As I mentioned, guys, I was having as a target Sony or Blue Sky. So I did a lot of reference about their movie, Warner Bros. Movie like Ice Age and Hotel Transylvania, and studied those animation frame by frame. And I thought about it. Okay, what can I use? What kind of shot can I do? What kind of body mechanic? What kind of a sequence should I do to push my pose and my timing in a different way that I've never done before? And the first step was doing a lot of video reference, but I realized very quickly that for those kind of shot, video reference actually doesn't help you a lot. So I had to go back and study to the animation and do a lot of sketch, storyboard, almost animate a little bit in 2D, even if my 2D skill are not very good. But definitely that was the hardest part, and the thing that actually pushed me a lot, because I was looking all this 2D animation and go frame by frame to learn it. And then I found out like more or less a sequence where I learned and I could push those skill and push my skill even further. But to be really honest with you guys, when I did this shot, I get also like a private mentor because I knew by myself I couldn't do it. So I hired a private mentor to help me even to push my skill even further, guys. And definitely, actually, this was very successful because you, especially when you spend a lot of time, and for me it was taking very long to do the shot. At some point, you completely lost the vision of what you're doing. So you need an external input to help you and to point it out a certain mistake. And so it took very long to do this shot, I'm gonna be honest. And at some point I wasn't really sure I was really satisfied on what I did, but I can tell you guys that the final result was at the end very good, and I was still happy that I managed to finish those things, even though there were a few moments where I was almost as close to give up, because you watch over and over for weeks and for months the same shot. In your mind it doesn't look good anymore because you're only able to see the mistake. But at some point it's important to say, okay, this is good enough, I learned a lot even in this shot, package it, put it away, and start to the next one. Okay, and I think I learned a lot in terms of timing and pose, was to stretch, because it's something I never done it before, and actually that's what kind of make me proud. Okay, because I was thinking outside of the box a little bit compared to other kind of shot I was doing before during my working experience. So my second shot was actually I was thinking about DreamWorks. Okay, I wanted to think about an acting shot where I could push my skill in terms of facial expression. Okay, maybe lip sync in the eyes, and that's why my acting shot was actually focused only on the upper body on the character. And I decided I wanted to give him a prop because I wanted to have an acting choice that involves like a use of props and things like that. I want to have a lot of details in the hands, in the finger. So definitely, again, was something. It helped me to grow, because working as a supervisor in TV series, I could never push my skill that much. So it's something I wanted to do. I wanted to do a lot of polish, and even that, like, it was very interesting. But at some point in the middle of the animation, I'm telling you guys, there was a moment where even after I did the blocking and the blocking plus, I realized that the second part of the animation was actually not going anywhere. The acting was not good. When I started to spline it, I realized it wasn't making any sense anymore. And even that, instead of keep trying and trying, I arrived at a point where I said, you know what, I just need to remove the second part completely and start all over again, even if I spent like maybe 3 weeks to work on the part in blocking plus. So it was very painful to let it go. But one of the lessons that I learned is like it's important that you realize immediately that something is not going to the right direction, and throw it away and start all over again. Okay, so it was a painful lesson, but again, it made me grow as an artist, I would say. And yeah, at the end, I kind of managed to have a quite good result. Of course, when you watch it over and over, you always feel like unsatisfied, but at the same time, I'm feeling I was growing as an artist, and that was the most important things. And at this point, I went through the third shot. It was like a combat sequence, and as I mentioned before, guys, that I wanted to do something very realistic, to apply to a game company, so almost very close to motion capture. I wanted to realize like a combat sequence, but at that stage, something snapped in me, okay? Because until the time, I made a couple of shots, not just to please myself as animator, not just to do what I really like in terms of a style, but mostly like to please other company. I don't know if you get what I mean, because I knew that if I wanted to apply to DreamWorks, I have to do this kind of style. If I wanted to apply to Sony, I have to do this kind of style. So I was kind of forcing myself to do that specific style. And at some point, I was really, really tired of this and said, you know what? I don't want to do something just because I need to apply for a specific company. I want to do something that I really am gonna enjoy, okay? And I knew I didn't want to do a very photorealistic combat sequence, especially with all this very fast-paced cutting, okay? Because I really enjoy animate. I really enjoy those kind of combat style in animation, like Japanese anime. And another thing that I wanted to do, I want to have a big camera sequence, okay? And I wanted to use my skill as a comic book artist to push some of the framing, and definitely something I was afraid I couldn't do with a realistic, body mechanic shot. So at some point I said, you know what, it doesn't matter. I just want to do what I really enjoy in doing it, and I really want to push my skill. So I did this layout for like a very long combat sequence. I did a lot of storyboard before. Actually, it took me like 3-4 weeks only for storyboard. And sometimes I go to the layout, I realize that doesn't work in 3D as well as I was planning in the storyboard. I had to go back all over again. So it took a few times actually. I think I spent almost 2 months just to do the storyboard and layout. And at some point I get a result that I'm actually enjoying, and I was going to the right direction. So after I did all that, I decided to start straight ahead this time. I use a different approach, and I start to do all the character. I think I have like 5 or 6 character in that scene, and I was thinking, having a particular pose when the character give a kick, or like a particular framing in certain action. And even that, there was a lot of moment, guys, where I'm telling you the truth, where I arrived to a certain point, I was planning a particular sequence, and when I posed the character, I realized suddenly it doesn't look good as anymore as I was thinking. Like a certain transition maybe doesn't look good, so once in a while I have to go back in storyboard and plan all over again. It was very painful. I think the whole sequence, it took me about 5 to 6 months, especially because I was working in my free time. And at the end there was also these other feelings, guys, because I was doing all this, and I felt like, you know what, I'm doing an animation that is mostly anime style, and what about if eventually when I finish my demo reel, nobody liked it? Because, you know, most of the game companies, as I mentioned, they do realistic motion capture. All the other big feature film animation studio, they don't use anime style. And I was really bothered about this. I was doing something I really enjoy, but I was afraid that eventually nobody else would enjoy, and eventually I would have hurt my own demo reel. So I was a bit bothered, but I continued until the end to do whatever I like. And at the end, I think I was quite happy with the result. And at the end, I moved to another acting shot. This time I was more into Disney style. I was pushing a little bit more the the pose and the timings. At this stage I became really comfortable because I was animating a lot, so became really strong and comfortable to push certain poses and stuff like that. So this last shot actually, I animated actually much faster. But overall I managed to compile my own reel. As I said, it took me 2 years, guys. It was very painful. I was very happy, but now when the time comes to actually put it out there, on Facebook, LinkedIn and everything, I was a bit scared, and mostly for that combat sequence that I've done. So, you feel a bit nervous because it takes you so long to do your demo reel, and you feel like, damn it, imagine I do this and nobody likes it, right? Like, what a waste of time and energy. But likely, guys, I put that demo reel on Facebook, LinkedIn. At the same time, I aggressively start to apply for a few company, okay? And I'm telling you guys, I was very surprised because after a few days, I got a lot of message from LinkedIn. There was a lot of recruiter that even if I didn't apply to them, they offered me a job or an interview. Okay, say, hey, Alessandro, we love your reel and everything. It was really fun, really amazing. And, everybody loved it. And the response was amazing. And it was so overwhelming because at the beginning, I wasn't expecting this. So I applied for a lot of company, and most of them actually offered me for a job interview. And I think at some point, I'm kidding you not, guys, in the first 2 weeks, I have 8, 9 interview, which I wasn't planning at all. And I think at some point I had like a few of them in the same days, and I kind of missed one. I feel really bad to say that. But yeah, the response was amazing. And the funny thing is, like, these things last not only for the particular moment, but even for the year to come. So even if I was not looking for a job, once in a while people see my demo reel on somewhere on Facebook or Vimeo, and they always contact me for a job. So definitely was the biggest reward. But the thing that surprised me the most is that the shot that everybody enjoyed the most was actually the anime style fighting sequence, and I was so happy about it because it's the shot. It took me so much effort, and what everybody says that, first of all, everybody appreciated the fact I managed to handle a huge sequence like this with a lot of character without not having cut between those long sequence. Okay, even if it was very long and the animation maybe was not exactly perfect, but it showed a lot of dedication, a lot of good planning. It showed that I have really great sense of camera, staging and timing, because a lot of recruiter told me, not just a recruiter, even animation supervisor, animation director, they told me, Alessandro, when we look a lot of demo reel from other students or other professional animators, most of the time they always see the same things, like a generic body mechanic shot, an acting shot here and there, and even if they're done very well, they're all kind of the same. And they told me, Alessandro, when I saw your demo reel and I saw that shot, it really struck me because it was something completely different that I never saw before. Okay, I could see an animator that doesn't only have like a good sense of animation, but he has a great sense of entertaining, because your demo reel overall entertained me for 1 minute and a half, and this sequence was very entertaining, well done, very well staged. Even if there was a lot of combat and everything, the camera movement is always very clean. The face expression of the actor is always very clean. I can always read what the character is thinking, even during a chaotic sequence, and that make me really happy, because I was putting a lot of attention into those details, and seeing all those people appreciating it pay off. It was really satisfying, I could say, for me. And so yes, maybe at the end, what I wanted to share was all this, that when you're planning your demo reel, think carefully on what kind of company you are applying for, but at the same time, try to express yourself as an artist, okay? If you have a particular style that you don't really are sure that is gonna fit other company or company policy or company style, I think it's still okay if you put at least one shot just to express yourself, your own personal style, as long as executed really well. And another suggestion is always try to look what other animators are doing. And if your demo reel looks exactly the same like everyone else, probably you have to think about a little bit more outside of the box, okay? And so yeah, that would be my biggest advice, because even if it might take you very long, if you do it carefully, if you spend a lot of time in crafting it really well, is you're gonna get the result eventually. And of course this is could be a double blade, guys, because if you're planning a sequence way too long and you don't have the skill to manage it, is not gonna get you a job. That's plain and simple, guys. I have quite a few students that they came to me after they saw my demo reel, say, Alessandro, I love your demo reel, I was so inspired, I wanted to do the same things, please help me. I've done this huge sequence of chasing combat, and I can see right immediately that those guys, they don't have the right skill as a body mechanics to handle something that big, okay? You have to be a little bit honest about yourself. You want to push yourself as an animator, but at least you need to have the basic, okay? So yeah, that's what I went through. It was a lot, guys. It was very gratifying at the end of the of those 2 years. So still today I managed to find a job with the same demo reel, actually, and that's really a great thing. Maybe if in future I will have time, I would love to try to do another combat sequence like that. Let's see what can I do with the time that I have available at the moment, because with my job I'm always busy. So yeah, guys, I hope this can help. And if you have any question, let me know in the comment. I will try to answer to you guys, and see you next time. Ciao.